In this episode of Everyday Audio, I'm going to talk about why I buy music in a physical format, and when it boils down to it, there's really only one reason why. Along the way, I'm going to show you how I organize my music collection, so stay tuned and subscribe for more Everyday Audio. Hi, listeners. So, first, I want to start by talking about the Everyday Audio channel and why I'm doing it and my approach to music and sound and listening. In this channel, we want to take a practical approach. And what does that mean? Two things. First, I want to acknowledge people's limitations. So, things like space, time, money, taste, availability of the music that you want to listen to on certain formats. I recognize that all these things are a part of life, and practically speaking, they need to come into account when we're listening to music. So, a very obvious one is things like cost. Music equipment, audiophile equipment can be really prohibitive and intimidating to a lot of people when they're trying to get into finer listening or start to collect music. And there are ways around this that I will be talking about in this video and in future videos. And the second part of my practical approach, besides the limitations to your collecting or your music listening, is the practicing part. And that's why I've separated everyday audio into 3 words, because that's the way that I live my life. I'm listening to music or audio every day. I am also a creator, although do none of this professionally, which is another part of this, is that I love audio, but I have made it a off the clock hobby of mine. Although I have gotten paid to do certain things related to it, it's never been something that's been a significant stream of income for me. But I do listen to music every day, and I'm usually working on some music project at some point every day. It is what I love to do, and I really believe in practicing something and the process of practice and getting better. And a big part of that is education, which is also going to come up a lot on this channel, and is my goal, is just to give people options and to help people. This is not going to be a channel where I'm going to tell you what not to buy or what to buy, or that this sounds terrible, or that if you stream that you're ruining your music experience. I will not do any of those things. To me, it's just important that you are listening and enjoying music or sound in whatever way that you do, and that you're practicing that every day, and I want to be a part of that journey. So, on to the main topic for today. Why do I buy music in a physical format in 2020? And there's really only one reason why, but I'm going to apply it to each part of the process of music listening, and that one reason why is intention. I believe that by buying music in a physical format, you are practicing intention at every step of the music listening experience, which I've broken down into the buying of it or the selecting of it if you're not buying it, if you're getting it for free, the opening or playing of the music, the listening of the music, and then finally the collecting of the music or where it is stored. So first, with the buying and selection, and we're talking about intention here again, when you buy something, it is much different, as I'm sure you've all had this experience, than when you get something for free. The value you put on it, the sacrifice that had to go into it, gives it that actual monetary value. But there's something even more than that. Because you are having to sacrifice some of your hard-earned income, it also forces you to start to think about, hey, do I really want to listen to this music? Do I really want to invest the time and money and space, if you're going to collect it and keep it in your home, to have it potentially forever? forever? And these are important questions to ask. I'm somebody who grew up in the 90s and the 2000s. I did use Napster, or I did not. LimeWire, BitTorrent. All these things have been a part of my childhood growing up. As for a lot of people in my generation, there was free music available. I can say that now I have very little or none of that music left. And a lot of it was because I just didn't appreciate it because it was given to me for free. So easy come, easy go. There's all different types of reasons to buy music in a physical format. There's no right or wrong reason, but just having that reason, I believe, creates a story around what you're buying in this piece of art and really makes it more valuable to you in every meaning of the word and more fun because of that. So that's first, buying and selection with intent. And if you don't buy a physical format, if you are streaming, and I do use streaming services, I do use YouTube. It's the biggest music library in the world. But if you stream it, you're also not in full control of what you're listening to, meaning not necessarily. You can do it that way, but all these streaming apps, they create these playlists. Once an album ends, they'll start playing something else. And often, in my experience, and I'm sure with other people, you get to a point where you don't even know what you are listening to, who the artist is, what the song is, and you can't name any of these songs. So say you like something, you can't delve deeper in because it's just been playing on this playlist in the background for a while, and you don't know anything about it. So buying and selection with intent, to me, there's a lot of benefits to that. So now to the second one, opening, or I'll also say playing the piece of music. This is something that is much different if you're not buying a physical format, which is very obvious. If you're online, you're clicking a button. You might see a little bit of that small square of artwork. If you want to learn more about it, you probably have to click some more buttons. Here, this is very different. You are physically picking up something. The opening of a vinyl record is an exciting experience, and we're not just talking about vinyl, but all physical formats. Much more exciting than clicking, trust me if you haven't done it. It's also, you're getting the full album artwork here in a large format. So that is what the artist has wanted to see and is a big part of the music and the aesthetic, and it's going to color how you listen to it, for better or worse. But opening a vinyl record, taking it out, and then even after that first opening, playing it. Each time you do this, you are looking at the packaging, at the artwork, at the credits. It's now taking me time as well, which is an investment and an intention. I also have these inserts that I'm coming into contact each time so I can learn even more about the album, or reading the sleeves should I want to. So the intent behind opening and playing it, a very obvious difference than if you're just streaming your music. Now I've made a decision at this time of day to separate 20 minutes and commit it to this record, and I'm putting it on. And so I've gone through that effort. I've used that intention. I'm going to listen to it with a little more closely of an ear probably, or I'm just going to appreciate that the music is actually there more than if it had been streaming all day and randomly came on. And at this point, I also want to talk briefly, and I'll talk more about this in another video, but talk about a time for no music. I have a lot of friends. I'm a huge music fan. I used to listen to music almost all day. And the further along I get in my audio journey, the more time I spend throughout my day not listening to recorded music. And the reason why I do that is I found that if I listened to music all day, well, one, my ears would get tired, and the effect that would also have is that I think my brain was also getting tired, and again, it just kind of melded into the background, and I wasn't really listening. It was more just this kind of white noise that was occurring as I was doing other things. So now I spend a lot of time with I'm not music listening to music with intention, not listening to music at all. And that doesn't mean I'm not listening. And I mean, if you've read John Cage's On Silence, or just very quickly, I challenge you just to go outside and really carefully listen for 2 minutes wherever you are. That is the best sound experience you're going to get. Using recorded music or using recording technology to try to recreate the 3 dimensions of sound, usually just through 2 speakers, is a totally artificial way and is really doesn't come close to the experience of what your years and years of evolution have achieved. So don't diminish time without music. In my opinion, it can make when you're listening to music that much more important. Which brings us into our third part of the process, talking about intention with listening. I've kind of covered this, but just to summarize, it's a more active part of the process to me because you've put it on in that way. You are committing to delving into this work of art a little bit, and that's a different listening experience. And it also challenges the artist to produce more or produce differently in a way that is challenging the listener. So I prefer artists who do still think about albums and where albums are an experience, whereas other artists, some in the more pop world, you might say, are going to lean more towards creating singles in this day and age because that's what's making them more money. Money, 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 money. And last, collecting. So this is something that, again, like opening or playing, is obviously very different. If you have your music in a physical format, you can always have it around as long as you keep it in good condition, and hopefully you are. If you are streaming, you can also collect that music, in ways through streaming services. You can also buy music in a digital format and save it onto your hard drive. My experience, however, has been that these hard drives, as computers become obsolete, get lost, and that music gets lost along with the hard drive. It's also just kind of piles up on a computer, and if it's not in front of me, I don't tend to really delve into it easily. Which also comes to weeding out certain things as your tastes change, for money reasons, whatever, for space reasons. Having a collection does have those limitations, and those limitations make your music journey important. If you could have all the music you want and listen to it all at any time, it wouldn't be that special. But because you need to choose what's in your library, because you have a set amount of money, a set amount of space, each of those choices becomes that much more important. Again, the main reason why I buy more my music in a physical format is the intention that's implicit then in each part of the process, and I believe has come back to me. Although it may be more expensive than just using a streaming service, definitely more expensive than stealing music. Which I do not recommend doing. I believe it comes back in that much more value in the pleasure that I'm getting through the intention and through what really becomes a process of discovery and a journey through music. Thanks for watching, and check out my next episode where I'll show you how I organize my music collection. Please do comment, let me know why do you or don't you buy music in a physical format, and please subscribe for more Everyday Audio.